Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is live number 51 on the year. And again, just so you know, I know it's lunchtime, you're having your sandwich, your soup, your salad, maybe your protein drink, whatever you're into, but you're here to learn. You're here to gain some value, get some golden nuggets, and actually I'm hoping, and my guest is going to hope that you implement and you take action. You don't just listen to us. That's one thing we want you to do, but we also want you to interact with us. I want you to hit that wow button. Drop a comment. If you're nervous about commenting, at least do hashtag live if you're on the live, hashtag replay on the replay, and hit the share button. We want to help as many people as possible. Let me bring on my guest, Cathy Haddad. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy day.
Of course, for you, of course. I
This is
appreciate
going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun. We known each other for many years.
that.
I was in the mortgage business way back when, got out of it, and now we reconnected. I've been following you on social media and you and your family and growing. It's been a wonderful experience I've been seeing. So
Thank
can
you.
those that are watching us right now, can you give us a little introduction of who you are?
Sure, yeah. My name is Cathy Haddad, and I work with Atlantic Home Loans. I've been in the mortgage industry for 17 years, a mom of two, and yeah, love what I do every single day. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of opportunity for those that are out there to learn something. This is what it's all about. Us having a conversation and they gain some value. And I am all about doing video. Have you done video for educational purposes, or are you doing a lot of video for Zoom calls? What is it your use of video today?
Yeah, I dabble into everything. So I'll do lots of Zoom calls with realtors and giving updates and things and basically different chats. But I also do video that I wish I was more consistent on, but I usually will do a video under 3 minutes that just gives people information, helpful information if they're looking to buy. And even for realtors, if they're in the market, it's been very helpful. So I usually try and do it in the slower season. And it's been really great because I've built so many wonderful relationships and have had buyers even come to me without coming through a referral source through the social media platform. And it's free, which is, you can't get any better than that.
Why people are not using more of social media, it blows my mind, because yes, it is free. You don't have to pay for it. You can just be yourself, put content out consistently. I noticed how you said it was 3 minutes you like to do the videos. Yeah, the attention span for most people, you don't want to go much longer. And it's better if you can do video and chop it up. You might have a 15-minute video, chop it up into 4 or 5, maybe 6 different videos, and that's a whole week's worth. And that's being consistent.
Yeah, it's all about adding value and making sure that your content is very good, because if you are just putting anything out there, then it may not, have the same impact that you'd like it to. But putting good content, actually thinking it through beforehand is always, helpful. It's always helped me. But just, taking that step is the hardest step. I remember when I started doing video, I would do it 20 times and be like, and then I wouldn't post anything at all. And then I just got to the point where I'm like, well, I'm not getting anywhere, right? So I had to just take the chance and post something, even if I felt like it wasn't perfect or I made a mistake or I didn't say the way I would have wanted to, and nobody notices. It's like they look at the information, they're like, wow, this is so helpful. Thank you so much, and it's like you just gotta roll with it sometimes. Just take the chance.
Taking chances, man, don't be afraid to fail or mess up. At least you're trying it. That's so important today. And I know a lot of things are changing where a lot of us are home now. So there's a lot more time on our hands. So we can have that chance to do different things.
Yes.
Let's go down. I know that your daily schedule must have been a little wacky now because of, you must have been very regimented, and now you have a lot more time on your hands. What's your daily schedule look like? Your kids are not school age yet, or are you the homeschooling right now too?
Charlie's in preschool, but yeah, I mean, I would say my schedule now is busier than ever, because when things slow down, I've always said you're always busy trying to get busy. And then the panic kicks in. So you end up really working crazy amount of hours of, just trying to stay in front of everybody, especially when you can't get on the road anymore and feel and touch your referral partners. It's really critically important to stay in front of them by doing tons of Zoom calls and texting and reaching out and being authentic in your approach when you are reaching out, being genuine. And then also doing the daily routine of what we do every single day. Luckily for me, I was used to working from home because ever since I had kids, it kind of became my new normal. So I wasn't really impacted in that sense because I was pretty much set up to work from home anyway. So that was really nice. But, and it's the only difference for me really has been just not getting on the road and seeing all my referral partners and talking with them, having lunches and happy hours. I really do miss, having that ability to be with the people that I enjoy being around.
Yes, you can do a lot of Zoom calls or StreamYard, but it's not that personal touch. Not you're hands on, you're near somebody. I enjoy it though. You can at least we can do this now, so you can
Yeah.
have that and feel the passion and the energy in front of whoever you're with. Because sometimes it can get a little, you're on a phone call, and now you're talking to someone. It's like a whole different ball game. And I'm sure you're doing that with consultations as well.
Oh yeah, I feel like this has, throughout this pandemic, I mean, a lot of awful things have come out of it, but some good things have come out, like Zoom and, this StreamYard. Being able to connect with people in this type of environment, most people thought it would be impossible. But it's been very effective and it's great. And I feel like this is going to stay. It's not going to go away when things normalize. So it's a really exciting thing. And I think that there's so much value to come out of it because now people don't necessarily have to leave their house to do like an online course or, if you're doing something educational or giving people updates on the market, whatever it is that you're doing in your field. It's a great way to connect with people without actually having to be there with them every second of the day. It saves you that 30, 40-minute drive,
Yes.
And I feel like more people will connect, more people will show up, which is what I've noticed. It's like, when you look at these calls, you'll have 200-300 people watching or tuning in, where if you went to the office, it would probably be 15-10 people to show up. So there's a lot of great that's coming out of this in some aspects.
Oh yeah, 100%. And these are some things some skills, some disciplines that you should continue going forward. I agree. Yeah, you can sometimes waste lots of time in your car driving to all your meetings. Now you can actually get more meetings in a shorter period of time and more control of your time blocking throughout the day. And it's something that a lot of you out there should be incorporating this consistently, not sitting there and complaining. Where is the business coming from? I mean, you have to also build relationships, and you're very good at that. Now, you work with referral partners. I like to use the word recommendation sources. Who do you get a lot of business from? A lot of real estate agents, a lot of other types of professionals?
Yeah, it's mostly real estate agents. Also, so many different sources, but mostly I would say the big bulk of it is definitely real estate agents. I also get a lot of previous referrals. I really tap into my database for previous clients. And then I also work with college benefits, some attorneys, accountants, things like that. But the bulk of it is definitely realtors.
And it's always about providing value. I know a lot of people are helping, doing open houses, but they're virtual. These are some things that I've been sharing that could be an assistant that can go out for you on your team that could help agents out, help them with their marketing, help them with pre-approvals. But you're not one that's going to go in there and on the videos you do, you educate people. You don't sit there and say, oh, I'm in the office today, give me a call for pre-approvals. That's a whole different way of marketing. You want to educate and give value first. That's where business comes.
Definitely. Yeah, my approach has always been building the relationship first, getting that foundation, because once you have that, then there's trust. And then there's a want to work with you rather than a need to work with you. And I think it makes the relationship longevity very good. And so I've been so blessed that a lot of the realtors I work with have become really friends and family to me, extended family. And that has a lot to do with the amount of effort and energy that I've put in building relationships with them first without ever asking for business, and over time, when people see that genuine approach and you're authentic and you're real about it, you're not just being fake, I think has helped me grow my business in a lot of ways. But also with adding value, I mean, when you've become the go-to person, there's a lot of steps that to get you to that point, and it's reputation. And so you have to make sure that you're delivering, that you are knowledgeable, and you're able to do what you say you're going to do and exceed that. And so I think that that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, exceeding expectations and actually doing what you're saying you're going to do. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
People, promise a lot of things, and that's
Yes.
not something you should be promising if you can't deliver. And that's so key. And that's why you continue to get recommendations from your sources, because you do your job. I've seen posts recently, you're getting deals done that were denied somewhere else in 10 or 12 days. That's not that's because they had the whole package deal in the beginning, right? Does a loan normally not take 10 or 12 days? Probably takes about on average 30 right now, or is it?
Yeah, I think also the systems, if you have the right systems in place, you can really close a loan from the beginning in a very quick period of time, but it takes two to tango. So it's going to be a lot of effort with the client, making sure they're providing a lot of documentation. A lot of the reasons why my loans close so quickly is because we do so much upfront in the pre-approval process. Like we basically have 90% of the work complete, so that by the time they find a house, all they really need to do is an appraisal, update some documents, sign, show the upfront deposits, and then, title work and close. So that's how we're able to really, stand out and close loans so quickly, even if it was denied somewhere else or wasn't, denied somewhere else.
No, that's awesome. Now, I'm always focused on personal development because I know you always have to continue to grow. So I've been doing things I didn't want to do and get outside of your comfort zone, change the game, do more video. I've been a health kick right now. I do a lot of reading. I watch a lot of video and try to continue to learn. What is personal development in your world like?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been the type of person that, I hold true to who I am, and, in doing it in a very approach that you want to work hard, be honest, and, be a good person. Never go outside or do anything that makes you uncomfortable. And then also for me, it's been balancing my life with my family and work. That was always a very much of like a scare for me because I was such a workaholic. I love working. And now I knew that I had to make some changes in my life to basically now be a mother to two, which is the most important role, and the happiest place that I am is being a mom. And then also continuing to be successful in my career, but also not only just being successful by, doing lots of business, but being able to retain the people, keeping everybody happy that is still working with me without them feeling the impact of me now being a mother. And that was really hard. So I had to really dig deep and, hold true to myself. And, I went through a breakdown at one point, and now I've kind of come out of this in the last, 2 years of realizing that always stay true to yourself, work hard, be dedicated, and, you'll find your way of what you're always looking for, what you want to achieve by being true to yourself.
It's beautifully said, and it's so true. Having kids, I know today, I incorporate my daughter in my marketing, in my calls. People understand more now than ever because
Oh, yeah.
they're around us all the time. So my daughter will come running over while I'm on a Zoom call, or
Yeah.
she's asleep upstairs right now. But it's something that I enjoy, and I want others to know how important that is. Family first, because yes, they're the ones that we like to work our hardest for, but
Absolutely.
they got to know that too. Like there's priorities. Like I'll answer my phone at any time, but then I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm with my family, I'm doing this, can I call you back later? And that's never a problem for anyone that I speak to.
100%. And I think, you time block, you start to put things into perspective, and you delegate, you give away a lot. Things that, I've always said, and it was part of my growth pattern. And, I did this before I even had kids to prepare for this. But, I always said, when you want to grow your business, the first thing you need to do is fire yourself and find others to do the things that you don't enjoy doing, typically are the things that you're not really that good at anyway. And give those away to somebody else so that it could free up your time to do other things. Part of it could just be being a mother. Another part of it is to free up so that you could focus on other aspects of the business, maybe being the rainmaker, growing the business, going out on the road more, whatever it is, or just, saying, I want to work less, whatever the reason is. The whole philosophy stays the same, and making sure that, just if you want to free up your time, making sure time blocking and giving away things that you no longer have the time to do anymore.
And you want to focus on the money making activities. That's
Yeah.
where you need to be involved in as far as a business owner, 100%. And if it's things that are non-income producing, those are things that you should get rid of and delegate and have somebody else that will enjoy taking care of that. And you can focus on making those money making opportunities. That's so clear to me. And I'm hoping that those that are watching understand that as well. Because like Cathy said, she had to fire herself, get rid of a couple things to make her get to a different level and level herself up. Let's keep that rolling. As far as I know, there's a lot of newbies, but a lot of those in my network are in that middle of the road mortgage originator. They want to get to the next level. They want to bump up. What are some tips or tricks or strategies that you can share for those that are watching that can get to the next level, by one or two things? I always say I could tell you 10 things, but you're not going to do all 10. You should always pick 1 to 3 things that you can try. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I think that when you're trying to get to the next level and you want to grow your business, again, the first thing is fire yourself. You're going to need more help because you're going to have to be prepared to be able to handle the new influx of business that's coming in, especially if that's really truly your goal is to grow your business. The other thing I would say is, once you start to track your business, write down your goals and reverse engineer what that is. So like before I was able to grow my business, I didn't really track how many leads I was getting, how many closings I had, who referred me the business, like all of those factors have a big role, because if you don't, number one, have your goals in place, then how are you going to achieve them? You have to basically write them down and then not only just say, hey, I want to do $100 million, but you have to figure out how many people do you need to talk to? How many leads do you need to have that will convert into how many closings, and how many realtors will you need to give you that amount of leads to get you to that point? And once that framework is spelled out for you, then constantly, doing reporting every single week, every single month, every single quarter, doing different types of reports to track that and see where the need is, see where you're falling short, see where it's exceeding, and put your focus on those that are, giving you the most amount of business. And so the other part of it, I think, is to not to build your systems, have your systems in place. You need to really be a very organized person to be able to do a lot of business. And part of that is hire the people that will help you build these systems. The other thing I would say is to really know your guidelines, because there's so many loan officers that really just don't put enough effort in taking the time out to check guidelines, be the expert at what you do. People will rely on you to give them not only information, but accurate information and information right on the spot, because there's so many loan officers that will say, oh, I'll get back to you, I don't really know. And then they forget to get back to you, or they get back to you too late. And guess what? That person already moved on to the next person who was ready and able to answer their question. So if you could spend an hour a day just getting ahead of everybody else, like people have always said to me, like, Cathy, you know almost as much or sometimes more than some of your underwriters. And I challenge a lot because of the fact that I take pride in making sure that, whatever I'm selling, I better be really equipped and know my stuff. So those would be my, very 3 things. There's so much more, but, those would be my main things.
So true. As far as always learning, always understanding the guidelines. Even in my business with different companies, we got to know where we're going to place things, what, if it's a renovation type of property, if it's something that someone's buying and holding. There's a lot of variety. And yes, you can go anywhere for mortgages and insurance. You can go online for things, but you would have no idea what you're putting your information into. And then it's spitting out a generic quote, usually with minimum everything, with nothing that gives you any concrete evidence. So it's so important to have a conversation and learn and know what you're talking about for sure.
That's how you become, you build a reputation and trust, right? They have to believe in you.
So you've grown over the years, and I asked you earlier, I'm like, how would you talk to Cathy when you first started? What are some things that you would tell her at that point? Hey, I this is what you have to start with to get rocking and rolling because you didn't get to over $100 million in volume, you know, now. It took some time, but what would you tell yourself then?
Honestly, that's a really interesting question. I don't know if I would change anything because I think you have to go through every step of your career in the different step, the way it's supposed to go. And so, what I'm doing today, I could never do back then because I didn't have um, that amount of business or that business model to be able to do what I did then. I think I needed to do everything every step along the way to get to where I am today. But one thing I will tell you that's helped me get there is being consistent, persistent, fearless, working your tail off, being honest and a good person. Those are the things I think that, I would say from back then to now, I've realized that it's helped me stay in this business for 17 years, where I've seen so many others leave the business or just they couldn't sustain it or they're never, increase their business over time. And some people are okay with that. And I think it's a great thing if somebody's just happy with what the business they're doing, they just want to retain. That's a wonderful thing too. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those that are always trying to constantly grow, always take the time to do masterminds. If I could, that's probably one thing I would say I would have done better. I didn't do as many masterminding. I was very much just closed into learning on my own, where now I wish I could have shadowed someone like myself and taken those steps, like those are the things I would probably have done, or maybe even joined a team when I first started. But back then, teams really didn't exist. So who knows?
Hey, that was a great answer. And it's true. There's a lot of things you learn along the way that, yes, the Cathy or the Shawn earlier, you won't know. And it wouldn't be able to handle what you're doing currently back then because you didn't have the knowledge of all the guidelines. It was a new thing. So you got to really make sure you understand those that are out there. You can't just put a billboard out there and think you get a lot of business. Those are things for branding. Those are things for putting time in, which I talked with Michelle earlier this week. It's something that she's like, no new real estate agent should just do and buy a couple billboards. That's not going to give you business, but it works for her because of the brand that she has developed.
Today, she wouldn't have been able or should have done that 10 years ago. It just wouldn't go with what she's doing today.
Right. Sure. And now with social media.
This plan.
What's up? I'm sorry.
If someone would have told me to start with a business plan, like, when you first go in, everybody's running around with their heads cut off. They're just trying to get business in any way they can. Really sitting down with yourself and putting down a business plan, I think will help you get to where you want to go, and writing down goals. I didn't start writing goals down until, I would say probably 8 years ago. 8 years ago. I've been in the business 17 years. So prior to that, I never believed in goals. I said they were always just in my head. I don't need to write them down. But you really do. And you really have to reverse engineer them to get to where you want to go, to get to your goals and your dreams.
And it's 100% right. And Eric Lindstrom's asked, about monthly goals or yearly goals, but writing them down is so key. Some people just don't really, they might come up with these, I want to do this, this, and this. If you write it down and you put it somewhere, I usually have my goals, right? They're on my laptop right now. And I see them every day. Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's always ingrained. So when you see your goals consistently, you're going to always focus on that to achieve in the near future. That's
and then when you're
so
running
important.
Reports, you have to have it side by side so you could see how close am I to hitting my goal? How am I going to get? Am I getting there? Am I doing my targeting? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be? Where am I falling short so that I can pick up where I'm slacking? Sometimes it's hard to see.
You've been doing a lot of talking. Do you have any questions for me?
Ooh, let's see. No, I just, I take my hat off to you for doing this and adding such value to so many people. You have so many amazing people that have come, and being consistent To me, when I see your videos, it really reminds me of consistency, making sure that you overcome your fears, doing it every single day. And I know for yourself, and you may not believe this, but I'm sure there's many times that you wake up and you're like, oh, I really don't want to do this today. It's like, I got to do it. And so I just, I take my hat off to you for that. So that's amazing. And you inspire me.
Thank you very much for saying that. And it's important. Consistency, being persistent. Yeah, there's days you're like, I don't want to do this. Or you might have someone, things don't work out right. And you're like, dang. And I do this often. Maybe the guest is not available that day. And I'm like, but I have people that usually tune in. So I do an open forum. And now
Yeah.
I've been trying to get people just to come on and get out of their comfort zone, because a lot of people don't have the cojones to do this, because they're like, well, I don't like the way I look or the way I sound or what I say. I'm like, just come on.
You have to be on. You have to be in the right mental state of mind, and sometimes we're just not there every single day. So it's really challenging. I did think of something too that it's funny, because I mastermind with a lot of newer people that, I don't want to say look up to me, but they do want to learn and grow. And one of the things I've learned very quickly when I dissect and I get deep into their business is that they're not doing, and the reason why they're not growing is they're not prospecting enough. They don't have a system for that. They're just busy getting the deals. They're getting them pre-approved, and then they're forgetting about the client. They think that the client is just going to reach out to them when they find a house. And if you don't have a system in place for that, and you're not prospecting every single day, you're never going to grow your business. So I really want to put that message out there. And if anybody ever needs to know how my systems are, I can totally get into detail of how I do that. But that's so important, and it helps really build your conversion rate, because all this that you're working for, you're not going to accomplish without, actually working and following up. Because if you don't follow up, you worked for nothing, basically.
100%. Having a database is so important. And if maybe you're not as tech savvy, maybe you use Outlook, maybe you have Excel spreadsheets. Guys, check out HubSpot. HubSpot is a good, CRM you can utilize as well. So there's things out there that every contact that you have, you got to keep in contact with them consistently, because they're going to go somewhere else. So it's so important to keep that. That's your goal, for future business. And this has been phenomenal. Lots of value. Is there any final thoughts you want to share with us, Cathy?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I just hope that everyone is safe and healthy at home. And I know this has been a challenging time for everyone, and people learning to adapt. And it's such a wonderful thing that, so many of us are able to adapt. And the strength that we have as people has really proven to us that we are capable of anything. We could weather any storm. And so my prayers go out to everyone out there, and hope that everyone stays healthy and safe.
It's awesome. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, dropping major value. I hope those that are watching and even on the replay try a couple things. And if some of the things are working, drop a comment to either Cathy or I that, hey, what you said worked. That would make us feel so much better. Do a little post too if it's working too, so we know things that are out there, what we're putting out into this world, people are actually taking and using. So we appreciate all of you tuning in, and we hope that you have an awesome day.